going to be giving you some of the best Nintendo Switch settings for Season 4, Chapter 3. These will help you improve your aim even with some of the goofy crosshairs which are on the new guns, and will help you get some crazy mechanics for the new season. However, before I run over the settings that I'm going to be using this season, make sure to use code CODIUM when buying this insane Battle Pass and any other skins which are going to be coming out in the future. It helps me out a lot since it helps me fund videos and tournaments for you guys. And with that being said, let's go right on with the settings. The first group of settings that we need to look at is the video tab, which is the first section. To make the game look as good as possible, I have my brightness at 136%. It's a good middle ground and makes the game look really good. I've personally never used user interface contrast, so I don't really know if it's good, so I'm not really going to recommend it to you guys. My personal colorblind settings, even though I'm not colorblind, is Trisnope, and the strength is at 8. You may think your game looks normal when it's off, but when you turn it on to Trisnope, it actually looks so much more brighter and so much more clear. Make sure to have both settings on the graphics quality is off. Most people will automatically have this setting on, so make sure you have this one off. Also, both settings under advanced graphics should be off. We all know that power saving mode actually kills the Nintendo Switch, but did you know that having show FPS off actually makes frames much more stable, since the Switch does need to calculate how many frames it's getting a second. Now onto the game section, which is right next to the video section. Make sure you have your matchmaking region on the region that you're playing on. Right now I'm playing on Europe, so my region is going to be on Europe. Language doesn't really matter, it's just on the language that you want to use. But movement, toggle sprint I actually have off because I don't have a sprint button. Very important one, auto open doors is actually really useful when playing. Whenever you're free building and you accidentally place a door, you don't want to be having to press Y, so this is why this setting is actually really cool and really important. Final setting in movement is actually mantle activation, and I think mantle activation should be on hold jump. Have hold to swap pickup actually on. It's actually really useful. Not many people know it. I have toggle targeting off, I don't really use it, but I do have mark danger when targeting on. It's basically the same as toggle targeting if you ask me. I've also pick up weapons as off, since I actually have preferred item slots. These are the slots that I actually have. They're really good. Shotgun in first slot, AR in last slot. That's the most important. Reset building choice is actually really cool. I'm going to show you what it is. So if we turn it off and apply it and we go back, we've just placed a stair. When we pull out our binds, our building, it will pull out a stair. However, if we turn on said reset building setting, now the reset building setting is on, we could be building as many stairs as we want. We pull out a pickaxe, and guess what? When we press A to bring out that thing, it brings out a wall. Disable pre-edit option, we're going to have this on. It's not 2018. We don't need to be having pre-edits. Turbo building, obviously make sure you have this on. It's not Season X where you can't build. I've confirmed edit on release as off. I know it's quite different to what most people would choose. I have it like that, and I'm going to explain why later in the video. It's something to do with my binds. Very cool. So stick around for that. Everything else in the section is useless, so we don't need to worry about that. Okay, so now we're on the game UI section, and I'm going to be showing you why it's important to have your HUD under 80%. So as you can see, my HUD is at 79%, and if we go back, we can see, look, it doesn't take up too much space, but it looks good in general. However, if we turn this setting up to 100% and we go back, it just looks really clustered. Show spectator count off, obviously, it's not needed, and it's just extra delay, so get rid of it. Reticle on, player health on, resources, minimap, quick bar, target info, pick up loot stream, map and backpack keys, elimination feed, net debug stats on, and quest progress actually off. I don't know what this does, so I'm having it off. Save some delay, you know. Reticle ammo indicator on, control prompts on, and creative runtime performance stats off. Okay, so now my favourite setting, which is the motion settings, is updated, which is a lot more complicated. However, I think I found the most simple settings that you guys can copy down if you want to ever switch, or even if you're playing motion right now. For the sake of the video, I'm going to turn it on. However, I don't normally actually have this on. So obviously, if you want to learn gyro, make sure to turn gyro on. And have, for the active mode combat and active mode building, have these both on always, so that you're always using motion, no matter what you're doing. And also turn your look stick effect as none. So my sensitivity is 1.4, and obviously my vertical and horizontal ratio is 1:1. Just nice and even, nice and balanced. So if I move it up like this and to the side like that, it will be the same amount of distance traveled. I have no steadying because my steadying is actually my advanced gyro settings. But I do have acceleration as legacy. This is seriously important. Acceleration on legacy. I didn't know this was actually the case, but legacy, quote, is an option. Legacy is actually really cool, and it says it's an option for those who want the gyro accelerations to feel the same as it did in the older versions. Seriously important if you want to be playing motion, because it makes it feel like the OG motion that we all know and love. I have flick stick off. It's useless. I'm going to be honest. There's no need to have flick stick on. And obviously turn on these advanced gyro options because we want to be having complicated but simple and good setting. So we've got scopes multiplier at 1.8, aiming multiplier at just 1.0, just the neutral one. Harvesting multiplier at 1.2, building multiplier at 1.2 and editing multiplier at 1.2. This is like, they're all the same. Obviously scoped, when you're sniping you may need a higher sense, but for harvesting, building and editing, they all need to be the same so that it feels even. Zoom scales sensitivity, have this one on. It reduces your aiming sensitivity automatically depending on how much you're zoomed in. Basically, your aim's going to be more adjusted if you zoom in. Also make sure that your handheld gyrospace and controller gyrospace, these are both on player, so that it's actually controlling your player moving, and that you don't have to aim at your Switch like the old Wii days where you had to aim the controller in between the little Wii. You know, none of that. Just moving the player. Your roll and pitch axis, have all of these on standard. Perfect little stuff right there. Okay, some of the biggest ones here. Smoothing and threshold I have at 10. Double what they recommend, but it's good. Then we have the smoothing in window at 0.110, which, you know, goated little thing. It's a bit below what they recommend, but in general, I think the threshold that this is giving is better than all the others. And the tightening threshold, you've got to have this at max. Basically, makes your gyro feel smooth and you're not like wobbling and bouncing around. And dead zone, 0. I don't really know why you would have a dead zone. It basically means you have to move your controller more for it to move. I don't understand that really. Filter controller vibration off. You don't need it. Advanced gyro options, disable gyro for gyro button X and Y. And have your gyro button hold time at 0.200 and trackball delay at 2. And driving disables gyro, have this on. To be fair, I may actually turn this off because I want to be driving cars like it is in Mario Kart. Before I go on to show my controller settings, please consider subscribing to the channel and dropping a like on the video. And now, onto the controller settings, so you guys can go absolutely crazy this summer. So now we're going to be moving on to the controller options. Most motion players, not to call anyone out, but most motion players who are really good at motion don't normally actually have the best controller setting. But in my opinion, I think I've created some really solid motion and non-motion settings which can work on either setting. So controller auto run I have on because I don't actually have a sprint bind. It's one thing I do need to sort out. Build immediately, very important. Have this on, obviously. Why would you have it off? Doesn't make sense. Edit hold time I have at 0.250, and I will be telling you why in a second when I go on to my controller binds. It will all make sense. Slide hold time I have at 1.115. I don't know why, it's just a nice number and I think it works quite well. Reset camera axis I have at yaw. Reset camera time 0.1. I don't really know what reset camera time does, but it looks cool, so we might as well. Vibration I actually have off completely because more delay for this bad boy of a controller to have, so don't need it, don't want it. My sensitivity, the god sensitivity, 1.8, 1.6. You can't seriously go wrong, if that makes sense. 1.8, 1.6 is solid. And obviously you've got to be using advanced options. You're in 2022. Obviously you're going to be using advanced options. So, look horizontal and look vertical speed, even at 38, 38. Nice little balance when you're playing on the stick, you know. And then I have 0 boost, but I do have instant boost when building. I don't know why, I think I've just adjusted to this setting and I think it works really well. ADS look horizontal and look vertical I have at 8%. Very solid, very sturdy. Most people have it a bit higher, but I think 8% is actually really good. It's like an even, but it's quite low. Again, no boost here, and then look dampening time 0. And I know, I'm playing exponential with no boosts. It doesn't make sense. I'm going to try out linear eventually, but for now, keep it at exponential. Aim assist strength, I have it 0. No, I don't. Obviously, I have it at 100. If you've got it anything less than 100, that's sick. Do your thing, but in general, just have it at 100. I'm going to be honest. And you can have it at 99. I don't know if that works, but you can have it at 99 to make sure it's activated. I have it at 100 because it's just nice. My left stick dead zone is 5% and my right stick dead zone is 10%. I have it so that my right stick has a higher dead zone, meaning I've got to move it more. Because obviously with my left stick, all I'm doing is just moving where the character is. But with this right stick, I'm aiming where it's going to go. More important, if you know what I mean. Obviously, you can actually get 0 dead zones. I'll actually help you guys get that right now. If you go here and then press reset, I think you have to do it on handheld. No, you can just do it here. And if you press reset, look, I'll do it because I've got balls. Alright, bam. 0, 0. Now we are playing on 0, 0. Yep, we're now playing on 0 dead zone on both sticks. To be fair, sometimes if you get a bit of drift, just turn this up. Don't get super worried if you get drift, obviously that's just because your controller dead zone is at 0. So just make sure to turn it up whenever you get drift. Vehicles, I don't really know what this does, but I have accelerate with thumbstick on. And tank settings, I have this on as well. Tanks are long gone out of the game, so I'm not really too worried about this. So now on to the volume settings. Volume doesn't really matter, but this is what I have. 58 on main, nothing on music. 46 on sound effects, 13% on dialogue, 44% on voice chat. Nothing on cinematic or nothing on picture-in-picture. I've never really seen the use. As long as you've got something on main, that's fine. So maybe even get rid of everything except for main and voice chat. Because in my opinion, those are the most important and the ones you really need. Subtitle, I actually have this in off, extra small, white, none, and clear. no delay, smallest text, less lag. It's perfect. It's perfect. So now, it's called combat controls, but I like to just call it my binds for my controller. These are really important, obviously, if you want to copy these down. I do play claw, so that's just a quick warning. If you just want to switch out my edit bind, which is X, with whatever you had as X, and then put your edit where my toggle pickaxe or where something else is, then do that. But obviously, these are really cool. So we've got switch mode / edit on the right D-pad, edit on X, and switch mode on A. This is because we have, and if I go to the toggle controller options, you'll see that we have edit hold time at 0.250, and that is because of having switch mode / edit on the right D-pad. Because that's binded, you're not going to get any lag or any delay when you're editing. Seriously, trust me and change your setting to have switch mode / edit on the right D-pad. Other than that, nothing interesting. I have sprint on the left D-pad. I don't use sprint. I should, but I don't. Obviously, most people should have the sprint on L3 or just pushing down this one so that you can sprint whilst you're running. That's the most useful, but in general, I can't do that because that's my toggle pickaxe and I'm just used to that. And I've got a crouch slider and repair, all three, the big on this one, the R3. The build controls, these are basically the same. I do have place on the bottom D-pad, so whenever I want to place a launch pad or armoured wall, I guess it is nowadays. Whenever I want to place an armoured wall, press that, bam, it's there. But that could also be on the Y, but just in case, got this one. This is why I have confirm edit on release as off, because I have my ZR as select, my ZL as reset, and my L as confirm. This basically means whenever I edit, I press my ZR, but the edit doesn't go through yet until I press confirm. Ability controls don't matter, just keep them the same as they normally would be. And obviously dead zone, and I've already taught you how to get 0-0 dead zone, so it's fine. All the other settings are up to you, and since you got to the end, you probably enjoyed the video, so maybe you want to like and subscribe. If you do, you'll be seeing more bangers like this on a more frequent basis. With that being said, check out the video of me reacting to some insane Switch players, and have a good rest of your day. Peace.